Hola a todos y bienvenidos a Alaridos. Yo soy Devanna y hoy tengo el inmenso placer de presentar a Devison WOLFHEART, líder de la banda brasileña de Metal Gótico WOLFHEART and the RAVENS. Antes de comenzar la entrevista, me gustaría hacer una pequeña introducción. El 24 de junio tuvimos el honor de contar con ellos en el cuarto programa de Alaridos y pudimos disfrutar de su tema Give Me Your Blood en él. Después de varios meses, vuelven a estar con nosotros, en esta ocasión en una entrevista grabada debido a la diferencia horaria, para comentarnos muchas novedades. Sin más, damos la bienvenida a Devison WOLFHEART. Comenzamos. It is an honor to be able to count on you and thank you for accepting the invitation for this interview. Welcome, Devison WOLFHEART.
Hello, my Ravens. This is Devanna WOLFHEART. I'm WOLFHEART and the Ravens lead singer, and I'm very glad to be here with you, Devanna podcast and Guajara magazine, sharing a little bit of our story and our music with you guys. Come with us, Ravens.
Y cuéntanos, ¿cómo te iniciaste en la música? ¿Cuáles fueron tus comienzos? And tell us, how did you get started in music?
In music when I was a child, in fact. I became a heavy metal fan at the first moment that I listened No Rest for the Wicked from Ozzy Osbourne. And after that, I became a metalhead. And since I was, I think before this, I enjoyed music. I love it too much. Music from the radio that I listened when I was a child. But I used to say that I became a musician at the moment that I was approved in a music conservatory. It was around 70 years old, and then I could understand better how this music works. Yeah, about the chords, the harmony, about the how to sing. Yeah. And then for me it was this way. But after that, when I was 19 years old, I formed the band. Yeah, Raveland. In the beginning, it wasn't WOLFHEART and the Ravens. The name was Raveland, and it was the beginning for me when I started face music in a professional way.
Very interesting, muy interesante. ¿Cuáles son tus influencias? What are your influences?
Yeah, since the beginning, I was very influenced by literature and cinema, movies in general. They influenced me a lot. Besides other musicians, other bands, of course, but I was very influenced by, for example, for I choose the name of the band, I was influenced by the move, The Crawl, from Brandon Lee, and literature. I was influenced always by Edgar Allan Poe, Álvares de Azevedo, some writers, several different writers, but Edgar Allan Poe was my favorite, and they influenced me to bring this to our music, try to bring this to our music. But speaking about bands, we had some strong bands. I must say, they influenced us too much, and it was the beginning of gothic metal ascension around 95, 96. Yeah, and these three bands, they were, I think, the main influence for us. It was Type O Negative, Moonspell, and Paradise Lost. But nowadays, I've got to say that our influence comes from things that happen around the world, And I try to keep our music in a different way, as a kind of dark music, yeah. And I'm a big fan of King Diamond, and I love too much the way that he writes uh, his songs, and then I try to create some stories in my mind in the past. Our first album, it was too much influenced by this. It was a conceptual album, speaking about after the sun hides. Everything it was about things that happen after the sun hides, after the sunset, the night falls. Yeah. And then, but I have several different influences.
¿Cómo definiríais vuestro estilo musical? How would you define your musical style?
If I need to define my music style, I think, yeah, according our influence, as I told you, come from dark moves, dark poems, yeah. And then I've got to say that our music is a little bit dark. I think it's dark metal rock, you know. It's a kind of dark metal rock. I would say this. We are totally influenced by Gothic rock, Gothic metal, and then I think this has affected a lot our way to compose, to create the songs, always trying to keep the darkness in our music. Yeah, as I told you, come this influence from several different bands, not only these three ones that I told you in the other question, but I listen several different kind of bands nowadays, like Dire of Dreams, how was Golf Minister, Death Stars, and they are a little bit more industrial. So sometimes I might say that my music is Gothic industrial rock. Yeah, it's a little bit hard to define. For this reason, I try to simplify and use only dark metal rock.
Si no fuera por la magistral carrera que estáis consiguiendo con todos estos años de proyectos, música, discos, CDs, es decir, grandes éxitos que estáis aglutinando en vuestra carrera musical, what would you be doing now if it wasn't for your musical career? Es decir, ¿qué estarías haciendo si no fuera por tu carrera musical? ¿A qué te estarías dedicando o a qué te gustaría dedicarte?
On this pandemic, I have worked too much with art, artwork design, yeah. And besides this, I'm a teacher. I started as a IT teacher in the 90s. At the same moment that I started Raveland, I worked as a IT teacher in some technological schools in Brazil, and I tried to teach English in some schools, and I can work with these two things, like music and at the same time teacher. But along this pandemic, I think the most of the musicians have worked with several different things. Like, for example, I have developed websites or some artwork design for bands, for label companies. Yeah, if I weren't a musician, only musician, if I weren't a musician, I probably would work with this, with artwork design in a graphic station company.
¿Cómo se formó la banda? ¿Quiénes la componen? ¿Quiénes son los componentes? Aparte, por supuesto, de Devanna WOLFHEART. How was the band formed and who is it made up of?
Yeah, the responsible for the band, the guy who formed the band was me. I formed the band in 1996 when I was living in a city, a far distant city called Mossoró, and I was living in the city at the time, and then I decided to form a band. I was 18 years old. It was in 1996. And of course, it was too hard to keep the fixed lineup. Since the beginning, along these 25 years, it's too hard to keep one fixed lineup. But I tried for several times, and but in the middle of the way, you know, sometimes some musicians they decided stop being a musician, or stop playing music, or stop do something and think about to become another profession. So I changed the lineup for a few times in the beginning, but since 2016, when I changed the name of the band from Raven into WOLFHEART and the Ravens, I have worked with almost the same lineup. Me as a lead singer. We had a character as a female singer who can be a different person who I invite. Depends on the concert. I can invite a woman to make the female voices, yeah. And we have this character's name like Ravenna, yeah. And but besides this, we have Andreas there as a guitar player. We have in bass guitar Rafaela Red bass. These two musicians play with me since 2016, and Daniel Wernick, the drummer, joined the band in 2018, and Marcos de Brito joined us in 2 years ago when we were recording the Dead Can Dance tribute. That's it, but the band was formed by me and idealized by me since the beginning. Since Raven or WOLFHEART and the Ravens, it was one crazy idea from my mind.
Por supuesto, como ustedes tienen influencia, ustedes también van a ser influencia para alguien, para un grupo de personas, para mucha gente. ¿Qué les diríais a aquellas personas que quieren seguir vuestros pasos? What advice o qué consejos le daríais a aquellas personas que quieran seguir vuestros pasos? What advice would you give to someone who wants to follow in your footsteps?
Yeah, what kind of advice I could give to someone who's starting the musician career nowadays? Yeah, you've got to keep the focus. You've got to believe in yourself. You've got to follow your heart, and trying to be not only a good musician. Of course, this is a rule. If you want to be a musician, you've got to play well. You've got to sing well. You've got to know how to play well. But besides this, you've got to know something about the music business nowadays. And you've got to know a little bit about marketing, about administration, about other areas, and that's it. You've got to disclose and promote your work, your music in almost every place. But you've got to follow your heart. This is the main advice that I've got to give to someone who starting music. It's too hard nowadays live by music because mainly after this pandemic time, yeah, you've got to know how to live by other profession. Yeah, you've got to know how to make money in a different way, because the most of musicians they have stopped it since the pandemic spread it around the world. That's it. But as I told you, besides be a good musician, you've got to be creative. Yeah, this is very important. Creative is very important too, to be different and always follow your heart. For this reason, I choose this nickname when I was 17 years old, WOLFHEART, because I follow my wolf's heart.
Y bueno, cuéntanos un poco acerca de este nuevo material. ¿Qué tiene de diferente con respecto al material anterior, a las anteriores canciones? Cuéntanos un poco acerca de esas novedades, de ese disco. Déjanos el saborcillo para que podamos comprar ese CD y disfrutarlo. How do the new songs differ from the previous material?
Everybody has commented about this, about that our last single, Give Me Your Blood, which is one of the singles from our new album that we are producing. They have spoke about this, that we are a little bit more industrial. I think this new album and so this full length which is coming, that we are recording, that we are preparing, making some arrangements yet, but for sure it will be very different from other the previous work that we have released, because the first thing is because the quality. We want to have more quality in the sound, and we are using too much industrial elements, code, electronic elements in our music. We are, as I told you, we are very influenced by goth music, and then I think this is different because there's cold elements, industrial elements, but the gothic and dark sound atmosphere, they will be there in our next album, I think. Besides this, we are singing, me and Andreas, we are sharing the vocals in some songs. He's a guitar player, but he has a nice voice, and he's a singer too. And then I decided to share with him some songs. We probably will have several special friends and artists invited to as a special guest in this new album. I can say some names, but I prefer wait a little bit for this announcement and soon. Some of them they have recorded in another albums with us, like for example Tommy Lindo from Threat of Tragedy, who participated in our second album called And the Crow Brings Me Back, and then he will record something with us again in this new album. Some great friends, like Fernando Ribeiro, and even Aaron from My Dying Bride, who commented stated in an interview, Brazilian interview, that he was interested in record with us, work with us in the future. It was few months ago, and yes, the invitation is done, and then I think he can record something with us. There are other artists, like one of my favorite goth bands from Holland, from goth metal, female bands, is Azrae. They will participate with us in this next album. And there are other friends, but Azrae and Moonspell and My Dying Bride and Threat of Tragedy, they are confirmed to participate with us in this next album.
Y hablando un poco de esas nuevas canciones en relación al material anterior, a esa diferencia, es lógico preguntar, ¿cómo es tu proceso creativo? ¿Cuál es vuestro proceso creativo? ¿Cómo se funden esas ideas y cómo dan origen a canciones como Give Me Your Blood, que es un tema muy pegadizo y que, por cierto, adelanto, lo vamos a disfrutar al final de esta entrevista. How is your creative and recording process?
Creative and recording process, it's has changed since this pandemic started. Yeah, and in the past we were used to go to studio and stay together. We presented some ideas at same time. We can play at same time together. We can create make some arrangements at same time. But since I think it's since 2016, 2017, we have worked in a different way. We have used it and explored much more the technology. Like for example, our guitar player Andreas records some riffs at home, some ideas. Sometimes he creates some vocal tracks for him, and I do the same here. I create some riffs, but not playing guitar. In fact, I prefer create with in my mind and use my voice to simulate a guitar, the idea in my mind. And yeah, I create some melodies after vocal melodies after the song is ready. Sometimes, yeah, we have around almost 10 songs for this next album, and we have worked this way. Like we have been working this way. Like we record in a band lab. It's a kind of website available on internet, and we record the ideas over there, and other musicians in the band interact at the same time or in another days. Yeah, according the ideas come, we record over there and refresh the ideas weekly. Yeah. And that's it. Sometimes I record some ideas, vocal ideas in my mobile phone. I think it's too practice, it's too much practice. Easy, yeah, for recording an idea. And I like too much this way, so I can present it to show this idea to others in the band, and they can contribute with this. That's the way that the creative and the recording process works in WOLFHEART and the Ravens.
Anteriormente te pregunté por vuestras influencias, por esos artistas que de alguna manera os han influenciado para crear WOLFHEART and the Ravens. Ahora mi pregunta es la siguiente. ¿Con cuál artista os gustaría escribir una canción o componer una canción o incluso compartir escenario? Which artist would you like to write a song or share the stage with?
The other artists who I would love to work with would be, yes, I think this next album it's a kind of realized dream, because I'm gonna record with some of my influences, like and friends like Fernando Ribeiro, yeah, or Aaron from My Dying Bride, Fernando Ribeiro from Moonspell, Aaron from My Dying Bride, Marie from Azrael, yeah, and other friends. I would like to record and work. I shared the stage with Fernando Ribeiro a few years ago. We shared the stage together, singing one Moonspell song. Yeah, and this moment is registered, I think, on YouTube yet. But nowadays, I really would like to love working with or Adrian Hates from Dire of Dreams, or Alex from Golf Minister, or even Death Stars, or one of my favorite bands, current favorite bands is Lord of the Lost. I would like to record something with Chris Arms or someone from Lord of the Lost. That's it. It's one I think can be. Yeah, we believe in dreams, and the dreams can be realized.
Como mencionaste antes, hay mucha gente, evidentemente, que va o que quiere información de cómo empezaste para poco a poco ir emulando vuestros pasos y crear su propia carrera, ¿no? Pero guiarse por un ejemplo a seguir para luego definirse. En cuyo caso lo has hablado muy bien, me ha gustado mucho tu mensaje de lo que le recomendarías a aquellas personas que quieren seguir tus pasos. Ahora bien, mi pregunta es, ¿cómo te gustaría personalmente, ya esto es la opinión personal de Davison WOLFHEART, cómo te gustaría que vuestra música influyera en la gente? Ya no solo para determinar una carrera musical, sino a nivel ya más personal, más íntimo. How do you want your music to affect people?
For 2022, as the first moment that we are celebrating our 25th anniversary career anniversary, and then we think about to release a compilation with some singles from the last 10 years besides a new shirt, a new wine, because we had released some bottles of wine a few years ago, 2 or 3 years ago, but we intend release one special one for this moment that we are celebrating our 25th anniversary. Besides this, we will release other things that the fans will love for sure. And we are participating in a movie soundtrack this year, which will be released on cinemas, on Moves Brazilian cinema in the second semester yet. But for 2022, we intend to release the new album and go back to hit the road again. That's it. It is the main goal for next years.
Y finalmente, adelántanos un poco cuáles son esos proyectos para lo que resta del 2021 y el 2022. And finally, what are your goals for 2022?
Well, I don't expect that our music affect the other people's life, but of course, when we compose one song, the first thing is reach our own hearts. After affected our hearts, probably this affect our lives too. Yeah, and if this the same song can affect to other people's life, I think is perfect, because you can pass your message over a different way. I think music is something very spiritual. Yeah, it's not only business. I think music is something from the heart, comes from the heart, and it comes from the heart. And then I think when you can reach the heart of the people, I think you're in the right way.
Thank you so much, Davison, for this interview. I enjoyed a lot, and I hope we can see you soon in a concert here in Gran Canaria. Thank you so much. Muchas gracias a Davison y por supuesto a todos ustedes. Espero les haya gustado esta entrevista tanto como a mí. Y ahora, como colofón final, su tema Give Me Your Blood. Nos vemos en Alaridos.
Well, Devanna, first of all, I really would like to thank you so much for this opportunity, for sharing something of our music and of our life here with you in your great podcast. Goes on with this amazing job because you can reach the heart of the people through the music and through your own words. I like too much. It's one of my favorite podcasts too. And yeah, and thank you so much for Guajara magazine from Spain. Muchas gracias, and I expect to see you soon on stage in 2022 or 2023 in the maximum. But we intend to go to Europe and meet you face to face. All right. Thank you so much. Stay in the shadows and stay with us. Bye.
Don't you die.